Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about those technical difficulties, but at least we were able to see the end of that second map of the night in Rialto. It's going to be Otter Oxide making this series a 2-0 in a pretty quick fashion here. So we'll be moving on to the third map of the night, Temple of Anubis, our 2CP assault map.
Yeah, I love Temple of Anubis for a lot of reasons because the first point of it is a little bit away from the defending spawn. So it's a little bit of a like if you can hold the first point, then great. That is basically your main goal. But if you do get pushed back to that second point, then it's right next to your spawn, and it allows just for like a trickling effect. Yeah. Where if the defending team dies, then they just are constantly trickling onto the point, and it does act for a lot of action in different team fights.
Oh, I definitely see that a lot on point B, so we'll see whether or not that ends up happening here. But it is going to be Greyhound Solar on the defense first, and Otter Oxide up to attack. So who knows whether or not we're going to get one of those two CP well moments, but I think it's still going to be a great match. What do you think Greyhound Solar needs to do in order to take a map off of Otter Oxide here?
It's scary because from what I've seen so far, Otter Oxide, they act very aggressive. They know exactly when to go in. And the thing is that Greyhound, they don't do that. They don't really look for the different holes that they need to, and they don't execute on different plays that they can make, and they don't really know what to look for. So I think that if they can kind of get their communication together, then I think a lot of their team play is eventually going to come together as well. But Otter Oxide, they've already established their team play. They've already established communication 3 weeks in, and they know what to look for, and they know what advantages they have. So I think if Greyhound can pick a comp that they're all comfortable with, and they can all just come together as a team, then I definitely think that they can hold maybe 1 point here, but it's going to be hard to see. I don't think they're going to be able to hold that for the first point, but they could prove me wrong. Definitely the second point is where they're definitely going to shine.
Well, I see that Raven Impulse is coming in as a substitute for Greyhound Solar. So we are going to see a little bit of a swap up here. Raven Impulse is very good on that Mercy, and I wonder whether or not having Resurrect online, if they do end up picking Mercy as a part of the team composition, will help them stay in the game a little bit longer. But you're right that as we've seen that Greyhound Solar did struggle a little bit on that Rialto defense, but they also didn't get a whole lot of time to showcase what they're capable of doing. So I am excited to see what happens as they're first up to defend, and they might just come out with a surprise strat that blows us away.
I do think that the Mercy is going to make the difference at the end of the day because of what different possibilities that Mercy allows your team to do. Mercy definitely allows your team to act a little bit more aggressive, and it's why sometimes Reinhardt's get just 100 to 0'd is because they don't have an immediate heal source to heal that tank up. And with a Mercy, even with a Moira, it allows you just to gain health just all of a sudden. So I think that the Mercy is definitely going to help out here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens as they get to assembling. But a lot of strategies that we've seen as well on this map in particular. On defense, we see a lot of bunker compositions coming out, maybe in a treehouse strategy up on the high ground. But I guess like in the same fashion that we described the escort map, we may as well tell them what to expect on assault as well. So assault has 2 hard points to capture if you are the attacking team, point A and point B. They are a significant distance apart from each other, but it isn't unheard of that after a team captures point A, they can snowball with that momentum onto point B as well. But there is 4 minutes on the clock for the attacking team in Otter Oxide to try to take this first point. And if they are able to capture it, it will be an additional 4 minutes that gets added to the clock. If both teams end up capturing both points on their attack runs, then we go into rounds 3 and 4 to see who comes out on top. But let's talk about that defense that's coming out from Greyhound Solar.
Yeah, we can already see what the comp is right now, and they're currently all just standing still, just debating if they do want to... I was just going to say if they're debating to go back, but no, they just want the immediate high ground, just to stay right up here, because they do have the Bastion. The Bastion is really good for defense right now, because you can just maul down a couple of people's shields, or even just get a pick or two. That's Bastion's main job. And with your Risa shield, it does have a pretty small cooldown, so it allows you to pull off those opportunities. But over on the other side as well, I do like the pharmacy that's coming out. I also love Xavier pulling out the Winston, because his gameplay before was full-on aggression on a Reinhardt. You can do that exact same thing on a Winston, and I want to see what exactly he can pull off. Agathon actually drops down here, sadly.
Oh, Agathon, I think, completely missed the teleport there,
Yep.
and that's going to leave him out on a limb, just waiting to try to get away from that Winston's pickle cannon here. But Berg attempting to open things up here as she rains fire in. It allows FamZoo to clean up onto Agathon and Professor Oak here. And as that Orisa gets bullied into the back corner, this point is all but captured here by Otter Oxide. Achenta with a last-ditch effort to try to keep them off the point, but it's not going to be too much to stall. This is going to be a 0.1 in favor of Otter Oxide here.
And FamZoo doing the job of D.Va beautifully. Dives in, gets a kill or two, and then gets another one as well. So you open up 3 kills for your team, and this is exactly what happens. You leave the Ana at the back, and then you can allow the rest of your team just to go up for more picks, and you can already see Bird getting one.
Yeah, Bird with an opening pick is going to force the res to come out from Raven, which will keep everybody alive. But Agathon, unfortunately, on that hit scan roll is going to not be there to deal with Bird, who is just raining justice from above at this point. And yeah, there it is. It's going to be even more as it's acid rain coming down from that girl's weapon. And again, might be a point B as well, as we see Greyhound Solar attempting to get out of the gates. Oh, but not going to be able to get there.
Yeah, I love what Otter Oxide did there. You leave one person on the control point itself, and then you allow the rest of the team just to cover up the entrances so that nobody trickles onto the point. As well, we also got to see Xavier's aggressive Winston there, like I was talking about earlier, and it really did pay off. You just allow yourself to get the Primal Rage, and you can get a couple of kills just like that.
Yeah, that's very true. The Primal Rage does do really well, not only for getting kills, but also for controlling just the general crowd and repositioning people. So I think that was something that was played really well there on Otter Oxide. And I think that was also just the perfect composition for that bunker comp, because the name of the game was just getting it dislodged off that high ground, which they did very beautifully once they jumped in and started catching people out of position.
Yeah, definitely. And this is what we need to see now out of Greyhound on this attack, is that they were a little bit, again, they were separated with the Bastion initially, not getting up onto the ledge, and he ended up getting picked off, and it just wasn't good for him overall. What we now need to see out of Greyhound is just basically what Otter Oxide just did, but I don't want to say cleaner, because Otter Oxide, that was pretty clean. But they just need to come to the same level, right? They need to be together as a team. It is going to be scary if they can't, but if they can try and dive, then it will definitely work out. I don't know if they're going to be sticking with this comp, but definitely Wrecking Ball and D.Va can do that job pretty nicely. And they also have Raven, like we were talking about with the Mercy, coming in with the Pharaoh for the pharmacy comp.
Yeah, the movement that Mercy grants is a huge utility to Greyhound Solar, especially because you do have a more stationary DPS in Agathon on the Widow. But it's going to be really important here for Greyhound Solar to get an opening pick, and that might be it, as that's going to be the Junkrat getting taken out as quickly as... See, that's 2 there. Yeah, that's absolutely right. With that shield gone as well, this is just going to be the massive opening that Paper Monk needs in order to Goomba stop the competition here. Otter Oxide going to go down to the DPS that are in the skies here. And as quickly as we saw Otter Oxide take this point, Greyhound Solar is showing us what they're capable of as well. So really nice 0.1 take for them.
Well, even though Kishi ended up getting 3 kills there, you also saw Agathon there in the backline with 3. But Brutal just says, no, just get shut down, all right?
Yeah.
But Agathon, amazing Widow work. Did exactly what he needed to do in order to allow his team to cap that point.
Yeah, the really important part of the composition that Greyhound Solar is running is that you do have 2 very large threats that need to, play well around the shield. So you have the Widowmaker that makes them make a decision. Are you going to deal with the Widow or are you going to deal with the Pharah? So it's just two different plans of attack, but yikes, huge stuff.
Brutal with a nice switch onto the Widow again. Like he already got one pick onto Agathon, but whew, a second there, and then one more. I believe it was onto Kishi. So he's a snipe shooter, man. That was sick.
Yeah, both of these Widows are popping off, so it's nice to see Brutal and Agathon both making some headway here on their team. But a really great support coming out from Otter Oxide to be able to enable that Widowmaker. Oh.
Another one onto Raven. But yeah, you're definitely right. Just the rest of it, both of their teams just allow the Widow just to really do whatever they want. I think what's happening now is that Agathon finally found his counter. He can't really find a good opening for himself, and again, he just gets picked off. He did have the support of the Mercy, and you're going to see the res right there, but he just can't really stay in the open for long enough because he's going to get sniped again.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you talked about it, there it goes again. Oh, and that's going to be a second pick for Brutal as well. It really looks like Greyhound Solar is going to need to just take some time and regroup here.
Yeah, he's just going crazy, and Kishi does get one, but still, Brutal with another pick onto the... Who you got to pick onto? You got to pick onto somebody. He just got another pick is all I'm trying to say. And now we're seeing the rest of Greyhound... Another one. There you go, onto Agathon. But they're not able to do anything. Greyhound can't get together as a team and squad up because they can't even go down the main steps of the second point.
Wow, it's just staggers on staggers here for Greyhound Solar, which is really making it difficult for them to push this point, especially because their respawns are so much farther away for Greyhound Solar. They really do need to be 6 strong here before they push the point, but they're gonna go anyway. Those mines coming out onto the point means that there's going to be a little bit of a threat there, but as quickly as they come out, so they disappear from Xavier's shield, and it's still going to be a waiting game here for Greyhound.
Yeah, Greyhound not able to find any sort of window in order to go in. I think they definitely need a pick before they do it, and they just can't find their correct pick. Brutal just with an amazing switch just onto the Widows, just denying any sort of fact, and Raven. Yeah, Raven is not able to really res anybody in time for a push. I want to see if they can actually finally come together as a team and make the push, but it's going to be hard.
Well, this switch from Paper Monk might enable that because the dive composition is going to be really good for creating some space for Agathon, but Agathon might not even need it as they are able to take out their counterpart that's been giving them so much trouble. This Diva Bomb! Huge! That's all they needed. They just needed to wait for that Diva Bomb to be absolutely massive. Ochenta really going to be stealing this point here for Greyhound Solar, and you're going to see that.
There we go.
Yeah, this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. This is a match.
Yeah, this is definitely a match, and amazing. More fights coming in.
Wow, even with that Transcendence, it's going to be so late, and there's so much damage that came out from Bird that we just didn't see that actually come to fruition at all. It's going to be a stop there for Greyhound Solar. They are able to get 2 ticks on the point, but they still are lacking that third.
Yeah, all they were really looking for there is obviously the win, but if they can get 1 tick, it's really just all you need to really ask for. And with 2, it's nice. So now you can reset, you can come back together. You know what worked the last time, which was just getting a lot of picks. And then even Paper Monk with the switch, like you were saying, the Winston is beautiful for this instance because it allows you to dive, but more fights coming out here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see a little bit more action as Paper Monk dives deep into the front line here of Otter Oxide. It's not gonna open up too much, but that anti-sure is because that's gonna force Paper Monk to utilize that Primal Rage and get really angry here. That anger trying to find its mark onto Xavier, but not before he's able to utilize that Earth Shatter. Still some trades here coming out from the DPS, but as Kishi goes down, so is that large amount of DPS that they were banking on. But I think at this point, they're just looking for some ultimates here to try to be able to push this point with 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah, and Greyhound now does have just a little bit of time to come back. They have about 2 more pushes before anything really happens. But with the staggering deaths is what Otter Oxide is really aiming for here. Bird, I think on purpose, didn't really kill Agathon immediately, and Agathon was trying to get back and disengage, but him dying a little bit late is going to cause just a little bit of more of a delay. There is still 130 left, so they are going to try and just immediately charge in. You can now see with Paper Monk switching over to the Reinhardt, they might try and take that left side. Bird, though, don't think he's looking for a flank in particular, but he is just trying to scout out his opponents. He does see Agathon right in the back, though.
I wonder whether or not Agathon's actually going to be able to get an EMP charged up, but that is really their Hail Mary right now that Greyhound Solar is relying on. But a nice opening hack onto Xavier is going to open the door for them to go in. The bomb, just as explosive Ochentis was, Famsus is going to be as well, keeping Greyhound Solar from being able to get any more progress onto this point.
That EMP was absolutely beautiful, and the reason why I think that Agathon's Sombra didn't work there is because you do need a little bit in order to charge the EMP. I don't think you can immediately go into the back line, just wait it all out, and then wait for something to happen. I do think that you need to pick it maybe 3 minutes in advance and then try and look for something, because or else you're just going to get picked off. Just like this, it's happening here. Agathon did try and get into the back line, but he wasn't able to do anything. But Bird with a beautiful, beautiful EMP start off that last fight.
Oh yeah, but they're not going to have that to go off of this time, but they will have that Valkyrie to start things off and get things going. And of course that nano boost as well is going to make Xavier a very scary force here. That's going to be a lot of bodies from Greyhound Solar falling to that one hammer swing, and that's not even going to be overtime procced for I think the ability for Greyhound Solar to get back.
And there you go. That's it. Otter Oxide taking the third map here. Beautiful work coming out of all of them. Even though they did kind of falter at 2 points. They let that first point go as well. 2 ticks on that last one, but we do get to see Agathon with some nice Widow play.
I think that, yeah, this is the opening picks that Agathon created that opportunity for Greyhound Solar to take advantage of, to be able to move on and secure point 1 so quickly. I think that they did play a lot better on this map, but it's still, I think, a little bit troublesome to me that they can't match the aggression that Otter Oxide has been putting out so far this match set.
I think that Greyhound does have a lot of solo players that are amazing at what they do. And I think it's just coming together as a team and utilizing all of those together is what they need to work on, because we saw a lot of solo amazing combos like the Agathon ended up seeing a little bit more out of the Pharah, but nothing else. Nothing really ended up clicking after that. And I think it's all really attested to their team play, because in order to take a second point on a map like Temple of Anubis, you need to have that team coordination. You need to come together as a team. You saw how easy Otter Oxide ended up taking that. It's because they were all together and they knew what to do at every single point. Mm-hmm. An example of that was just when they finally got onto the second point, they ended up just splitting 3 and 3. 3 went onto the left side, 3 went onto the right side, just to block the respawn. The respawns coming out from Greyhound. So I think that if Greyhound can come together, then maybe, but it is going to be map number 4. We get to see just a little bit of a fun map. I love Hollywood.
Oh, I love Hollywood too, and because it's a hybrid map, so it is a combination of the map type that we just saw for Assault, as well as the escort map that we saw from Rialto previously in the night. But you know, something else that I want to mention before moving into this map is that it is so important when you're on the attacking team to play heroes that are going to have point presence. Oftentimes we actually see teams swap off of the Widowmaker, because Widow is so fragile as a hero, and her utility really comes from opening up a pick, creating an opportunity for the attacking team to take advantage of. And I feel like we might have wanted to see Agathon switch off to something with a little bit more point presence. So a Reaper or a Sombra, just something that would really enable a team to move in and kind of create that go signal.
Yeah, definitely. The Widow doesn't really work too well on maps like this because of, again, like you were saying, her fragileness. But definitely a dive comp to start off the point is going to be crucial. And I know that Otter Oxide loves to play those in particular with the different Winstons, and maybe if they want to pull out a Wrecking Ball, a Diva, definitely. Both of these teams can show that they love to do so. We are gonna also see a couple of switches over on the side of Greyhound where they want Freezer instead of Agathon. Freezer, let me try and find his name here. He loves to play this.
Freezer's a hitscan DPS player.
Yeah, so he likes to play the Sombra in particular. Doesn't really. I don't know if he plays anything else, but the Sombra
he plays Widowmaker as well. But I think yes, definitely moving more into that disruptive Sombra role that we saw work really well from Bird's point of view as well.
Yeah, definitely, and we're also gonna see Vorden for. I can't pronounce that name.
Ochenta.
There you go.
80 in Spanish.
Yeah. And he loves to play the diva. So the diva, both of them do love to pull out the diva, but I think that Orchenta might play the diva a little bit better. I think this is why they would want to switch them out, or maybe just team play is a little bit better for one other than the other.
It's possible. I think that something that Greyhound Solar is really working against is the fact that they might not have the same game plans that Otter Oxide does, which I just think that having a game plan gives you a different sense of confidence going into a map, especially like Hollywood or just any sort of map series. So, you know, it will, I think, play a little bit more into Otter Oxide's favor. But I've seen them come back from this before where they may lose the overall set, but Greyhound Solar has so much fight in them that they have been able to take maps off in like a surprising fourth map upset. And I would love to see that here because I know that they have it in them in order to be able to do that.
I think the main difference between something like a fourth match and just the matches themselves is that fourth match, it really doesn't matter, right? So it's like, all right, let's just play this one for fun, and we're just going to go full on aggro. And if it does end up working out, then it's like, oh, maybe this could be our new playstyle. Maybe this is what we can work off of going into next week. And if they can do so, then that's great. I would love to see Greyhound maybe come back in next week and hopefully try and do something. But we're just gonna have to see.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head about something there because, you know, I want to see Greyhound Solar get really, really aggressive because I think that's something that they've absolutely been lacking. It feels like they're playing very scared without some sort of game plan, and it's causing them to be a lot more cautionary rather than proactive with their gameplay. And when you are playing proactive, you do feel a lot more confident and a lot more in control of what you're capable of doing, and it just feels like Otter Oxide has more of that today.
What I also want to see is if they end up pulling anything out that they usually wouldn't pull out, just to try and test it out, because you know this is the time to really just test things out. Other than your scrims, and scrims still are taken very, very seriously, no matter what match you're playing. But in a match like this one, it's like, all right, I want to pull out the Genji. I want to pull out this pick, and let's just see if it all works out. And if it does, then it's like, hey, maybe we can play that later. Maybe we can play that in the scrim and see if it works.
That might be the case. But something else that I want to point out as well is that the elo that these players are playing and a lot of the heroes that we're seeing being chosen are much more comfort picks for these players, so they don't necessarily have the deep hero pool or the wide hero pool that we do see coming out from players that are on the more professional level. But that's why they're here in Owlet, so that they can learn and they can get really good at their craft. So look at the defensive composition here that we're seeing from Otter Oxide. Interesting that we're going to see that Genji and Widowmaker with more of a death ball oriented comp.
Yeah, I think that what Otter Oxide want to do is they want to follow that dive aggro comp with kind of like I want to say like a Winston, but they don't have a Winston. They're going to try and replace that with the Genji. And we're going to see if they could try and do that, but Paper Monk wants to go into a 1v1 here.
Oh, but that's not going to be a 1v1 that happens in his favor because Bird is the word here. Really cleaning up the team with a couple of domes to the head here. And oh my goodness, if you didn't think that she just played Pharah, you were wrong. She plays everything.
She just plays everything. But it was kind of a funny interaction there where you saw the Brig. I believe she tried to jet dash over the car, but then she got hit by a flame strike. So she just like fumbled back into her own spawn. That was funny. But
yeah, that was pretty funny. I enjoyed that.
that was a nice little interaction. But yeah, again, Paper Monk just going full on frontline hammer mode, and it worked for a little bit. But now they want to try another angle, go along the left side and try and get some sort of a high ground.
Yeah, and we'll see whether or not Sakura is able to get into the backline here as they want to, but oh my goodness, as soon as that shield went down, that is going to be Xavier's go signal to not only go in and get Paper Monk, but go chase down the rest of Greyhound Solar as well. Holy cow.
I think he just ended up getting 4 or 5 kills there just in that little choke. An amazing Earth Shatter, as well as just Xavier tracking where the enemy is. Because I believe you saw one of the members just go off on the right or the left side from their point of view, down the steps, but they just kind of got they weren't all on the same page there, which is a little bit sad. But we do get to see what Greyhound want to pull out again.
Well, Greyhound is looking for Cyber Ninja, so they do have the EMP almost online here, but as soon as Paper Monk goes in, that is going to be as quickly as he goes down. Raven Impulse looking for the ability to try to get them back up, but Sakura now going to get just chasing down the members of Greyhound Solar, scaring them away with the Genji Blade, so that's going to be the utility that they get from that ultimate there. The Freezer Burn now has the EMP online, so they might be able to make something happen with this next push if they are able to get that blade up as well.
Yeah, sadly, Freezer Burn hasn't found the opportunity to strike just yet. You could see him here on high ground. He was right behind a Disappoint, but didn't want to strike on it just yet. He just wanted to wait for the rest of his team just in case a Disappoint did have Transcendence, and he did. So you got to watch out for that one. But Paper Monk, again, going in, same type of gameplay.
Yeah, we see that the two main tanks here from Greyhound Solar are going to be playing really well together on that front line. But Warden now getting a little bit caught out. That's going to be a mech blast for them as well, and Raven trying their best to keep Paper Monk alive as he does try to go in and get some of that classic aggression that is going to enable Kishi to get in there and do quite a bit. But Sakura able to get a kill on their counterpart here before that Graviton Surge comes out. Grav, though, able to get Paper Monk back alive with that resurrection. But Sakura goes in for 1. Ooh, not going to be... Yeah, 1. Is going to get 1, but that is going to be at least a 0.1 cap, I think, for Greyhound Solar. I think that might have opened the door for them, but a last-ditch Transcendence coming out from a Disappoint might mean that buys Otter Oxide enough time to be able to get back to the point here, and a huge Bio Nade. They're just going to need to be able to focus here to try to get people down, but it's going to be no target focus there. It's going to be Kishi coming in to try to steal the show, as that Dragon Blade is going to allow Greyhound Solar to get this first point and get that cart rolling in overtime.
That was so incredibly close. A little bit of that was just Greyhound basically just holding their own ground. They finally got onto the point. They tried it in the second last push where they just all try and get onto the high ground using the D.Va and the Winston, and then just collapse onto the point, and it didn't really work out. But they tried it again, and surprisingly it did work. It did end up again working, but
True.
Otter Oxide with the constant trickle onto the point they weren't really able to do anything. They did show a little bit of heart, but Bird right off the bat getting picked off.
Ooh, and it's gonna be by that snipe Yada there from Dr. Professor Oak. But we are going to see Warden potentially looking for a way to utilize that D.Va bomb here. Maybe see whether or not Greyhound Solar is able to pick off a couple of people before they drop that big bomb onto Otter Oxide. But there's going to be a lot of hacks here coming out. Famsu going to get the short end of the stick there. Going to get a little bit healed up by Lit Cat before they come in for another engagement. Oh my goodness, it's like non-stop action here between these two teams.
Yeah, you can see half of them on the ground itself and half of them on the high ground itself. Sakura wants to just go in 1v3, and you can't really deflect lightning, but a Disappoint is going to take out Paper Monk.
Yeah, it's going to be another snipe Yada there. I love these Zenyatta's doing that damage. Warden going to drop that bomb onto point and see whether or not they're able to get anybody. It will be Xavier fighting the big bomb here, but Bird still in the sky is going to try to keep everybody at bay, but a nice hack from Freezer Burn is going to ground that Pharah and take them to the dirt. Will be a 2nd-point cap here coming out from Greyhound Solar.
Yeah, and this is a little bit harder to take itself because it is so in the open, so it allows the defending team to pull out some crazy comps. And you saw a little bit of it where, again, they do have the Genji, they do have the Diva Bombs, if possible, the EMP from Freezer Burn. He wasn't able to get it off in that fight, sadly. But getting this first point is super crucial because now you completely change the pace of the fight. It is all indoors. It's a little bit easier to track Pharahs, and I want to see if Paper Monk is going to be able to stick onto that Pharah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that. But Sakura is going to go in first with that nano-boosted blade, trying to find their target with Monkey, but it's not going to work. It's going to be too beefy of a target for Sakura to take down, even with that boost from the nano. But Vorted will lose their mech in the process, which makes them easy cleanup here for Sakura as they continue to get into the back line. Unfortunately, going to get bullied there by Paper Monk, but this is still going to be a pretty good opening here for Greyhound Solar to be able to get in and make something happen. But there's still a lot of high ground control going in the way of Otter Oxide, which it might open up the door for something big to happen here. It's going to be Xavier getting angry and into the thick of things here with that Primal Rage online, and Bird is just continuing to do bird things here as Otter Oxide is fighting to maintain some sort of defensive pressure here. Bomb going out from Borden is not going to pick up too much, but it will open the door for Raven Impulse to be able to get that important res off onto Paper Monk. Gets them alive in order to start tickling down the competition here as they continue to chase Otter Oxide, playing a little bit of ring around the rosy here by that health pack.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a little bit of stalling coming in from Otter Oxide, and then finally, right when Greyhound finds one pick, they ended up getting a lot in EMP going out as well.
Ooh, and that's gonna EMP go signal here for Kishi. Gonna pick up Famsu and try to get closer to the door as the respawns start coming out here from Otter Oxide. It will be Xavier hustling back to the point there as that Wrecking Ball and a last-second Transcendence from a Disappoint will make it invincible and impossible for this card to move forward before that Zen goes down, but that Zen will go down and the defensive dreams of Otter Oxide as well.
And there you go. You see a little bit more of an aggressive Greyhound, and this is exactly what they pulled out. It's just they push the payload all the way to the very end. They do take all of the time that they do need in order to do so, but it's still some sort of a showing and some sort of a skeleton of what can become a really good team if given the time and the work. I want to see if Otter Oxide can now bounce back from that, because Otter Oxide, they already took the set 3-0 pretty decisively, but they show a little bit of weakness here on the 4th map itself, and I want to see if they're able to bounce back from that. If they can take this first point with ease, I think that they can definitely push it all the way. But if they do struggle a little bit on the attack, then I think we might be able to see some sort of a match.
I mean, Greyhound Solar is angry. I think that I've seen this before with Greyhound Solar trying to get some sort of revenge onto Otter Oxide from that 3-0 at the start of the match set. So they want to be able to take this 4th map up of Otter Oxide because map differential really does matter, especially when looking at the playoff picture as well. I think that Greyhound Solar is hungry. They really want to be able to make it to playoffs. Exactly.
They want to try and somehow make a statement for their own team. If they can do so, then that's great. If not, then kind of sad. But it's all good. So I do like to look at the different comps here all setting up. I love how Freezer Burn wants to pull out these weird type of picks. Last game, it wasn't weird, but it was still a Sombra. But in this one, he wants to pull out the Bastion as well as Kishi with the Torb.
I mean, this is going to be a really difficult spot for Otter Oxide to attack from, because look at this movable Bastion here. Paper Monk is going to have to do a lot in order to get those cooldowns right for that shield in order to protect this damage here from the Bastion and the Torbjorn. But we're going to have to see a really nice rotation here from Otter Oxide. They do see that damage threat is up on the high ground there, and they're trying to avoid as much of it as possible. Going into the cafe, seeing whether or not they can kind of drop onto point out of range of the damage here raining down from Freezer.
Look at Bird. Bird's just riding the train all the way up, and maybe he's going to try and get a little bit of a collapse off. He does get the hack off, which is pretty nice.
Oh, but Vorden going in is actually going to mean a loss of their mech here. But as quickly as that mech goes down, it's going to be Vorden losing their life as well. But that's going to be the only one on Otter Oxide, or on Greyhound Solar, excuse me, that's actually going to get the brunt of the Otter Oxide force here. But Otter Oxide's just going to have to regroup and try again.
Yeah, and that's fine. The fact that only one of their members ended up going down there is all they were really looking for. Now, Freezeburn does have 94% if he does want to go into his ultimate form, if he does want to do that. But I was gonna say initially, when you don't see a team defending in the initial bridge choke of this map, you kind of wonder yourself where exactly they are, and all of them are just on top of this high ground, just all on top of here. 3 of them, one of them falls off. It's still all good. But then you readjust by going back around, and you don't really know how to defend it. But D.Va going in.
Well, it's a difficult position to be in because there's no way for Otter Oxide to be able to reach them. They're going to have to try to force them down to the point, but before they're able to do that, that's actually going to be half the team members of Otter Oxide getting taken out before they come. A couple of picks, though, coming out from Otter Oxide, but a bomb onto point just trying to keep this defense alive here for Greyhound Solar. A hack onto Raven. If they're able to take them out of this fight, means that main support healing is going to be down and out of here, but that is still a lot of kills coming out from Freezeburn, a lot of damage getting pumped out. Gotta be careful of that point though, because it looks like they're actually going to end up giving up a tick before Dr. Professor Oak is able to come in and keep Vorden's neck healthy. But a sound barrier, that's going to be a loss of a sound barrier here from Disappoint going down before they're able to keep their team alive. But we need to see some point presence here. Look at how much progress they're giving up here to Otter Oxide.
Yeah, it was 1 and basically 3/4 of the whole entire point before Bastion was like, wait, maybe I should move, and he just ends up dying. Bird with a couple of really nice picks. You also saw the Anna stall out the point a little bit more, so every single one of these members just pulling out their own weight. And I do kind of like what Otter Oxide is now doing here, where they just send a couple of members up just to try and get any sort of picks, and they keep Litcat back on the point itself. But sometimes when you go a little bit over aggressive, this is what happens. 2 quick kills going over to Greyhound.
Yeah, Greyhound's gonna go ahead and punish the aggression from Otter Oxide, which is what we want to see. And Freezeburn getting that teleporter set up just means that they're gonna try to find a good position here.
They are going to try and find something, but you also say Paper Monk diving into the back line. EMP goes out too.
Oh, that's a huge EMP. That's going to get the majority of the members of Greyhound Solar, and everybody is so low here as we see some excellent target focus coming out from Otter Oxide. That is going to be some cleanup crew got called in for this special occasion here, and that cart is going to continue to move, trying to get a little bit of a stagger onto Kishi before they're able to get back to their team. Nice work, Otter Oxide.
Yeah, pretty simple team fighting work there. You saw the 3 members of Greyhound diving into the backline with no one really else on the same page, and that's just when you think to yourself as Otter Oxide, hey, let's just disengage, come back onto the payload, try and defend as best as possible. And if something can come out from this, then that's great. But you also see the Sombra goes in, disengages as well. That was scary.
It was a nice pincer attempt, and that's going to be what Greyhound Solar is going to do as well. Papermonk going in, knowing that they got the Primal Rage online to try to boop people out of the way and off of this cart. And as everybody gets really low on Otter Oxide, looks like Vorden's going to try to re-mech here. Unfortunately, Disappoint's going to go ahead and pop that sound barrier. In kind of positioning that's not going to actually end up getting the rest of Otter Oxide or mitigate that threat of the D.Va Bomb, since that wasn't actually a whole lot of pressure for Greyhound Solar to deal with either. But Otter Oxide here, with all of those ults being invested, is actually going to have to back off, and that's going to be a huge upset for them.
Yeah, definitely a massive upset coming in from Otter Oxide. They were trying to play off of their momentum with the cart going so incredibly far, and they just weren't able to finish it off completely because of how much dive potential you saw Greyhound pull out here. But now the team is basically split. A couple of them are on the payload, a couple are on high ground. I want to see what they do. EMP!
Yeah, and this is going to be Kishi trying to go in for that, but it's not going to do enough against that massively charged Zarya cannon that we had coming out here. But Xavier here is going to be another Hyper Reinhardt just going deep into the backline of Greyhound Solar to try to get everybody down. But we're seeing a really good fight coming out from Greyhound. It's going to be less than 60 seconds left on the clock as that Primal Rage gets popped. Papermonk trying to push everybody away to give his team some time to get back to this point.
2 coordinated team fights coming in from Greyhound, and they just need one more. It's 30 seconds, like you were saying, left on this clock. Bird is trying to find some sort of an angle. He does have his EMP as well, so this could open up some possibility for a wombo combo if they do want to pull it out with the Reinhardt, but it can be kind of tricky to pull it off if they aren't coordinated. 3 currently on the point. Bird in the back line. Let's see what happens.
Oh, we're gonna see whether or not this EMP comes out, and that's gonna be a huge, well-timed EMP for Bird. Oh my gosh, that's really gonna enable Sakura's bomb to get that triple kill there. And here we go as that clock enters overtime. It will be another point cap for Otter Oxide. This will put a minute and a half left on the clock, and Otter's gonna have to... Otter's going to have to do something here in order to be able to make it to that 3rd point, because this isn't a whole lot of time left on the clock.
No, it's not. And when you're facing an enemy team that has an EMP, has Transcendence, and also the Diva Bomb, it can get a little bit scary if they're coordinated. But, oh my goodness, the picks.
Oh, the picks. Oh my gosh, that's going to be some aggression there from Otter Oxide, which will open the door for this cart to continue to push towards that 3rd point. So if you didn't think that they had enough time on the clock, I don't know if they quite needed that much, because they're still moving forward. But look at Freezer Burn in the back line here getting ready for an EMP.
Yeah, exactly. She is just waiting in the back. Or no, Freezer Burn. He's just waiting in the back, and there you go.
Like Otters was trying to do to them, Greyhound will try to do to Otters. It will be that EMP bomb, that combination, trying to stop Otter Oxide's push here. Paper Monk going to fall, which means that bubble isn't going to be there. But luckily, Raven is around to be the medic that she is. That's going to be a Genji Blade in the last 20 seconds here, going after Sakura on the Diva. Will get the DMAC, and Sakura is going to get pretty staggered here as they try to fight their way into the front lines of Greyhound Solar to force them to get them, to get them low. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a really great stagger there as this enters last fight.
Yeah, you got to get somebody onto this payload, and Bird goes in.
Bird's gonna go in with another EMP, and that's gonna be another fat EMP. Gonna take out their counterpart in Freezer Burn, and this is just gonna continue to push this cart forward here. Respawns will be coming out from Greyhound Solar as they attempt to make their way out of the gates, but in overtime, we might enter a scenario where we've got a round 3 and 4 happening. Paper Monk, though, coming in for the crowd control with the support with Raven. Nice Transcendence, though, to keep everybody alive as Paper Monk takes a nap on the side. But without that shield, that's going to be a huge Earth Shatter for Xavier, and a bomb trying to get everybody off of this point so that we can see Otter Oxide make it to the 3rd one. But it still respawns and staggers for Greyhound Solar. But I think that as that last kill comes out, that will be 3rd point. And we're going to see a round 3 and 4.
We're going to see a series, Nekkra, and here we go. Round 2 completed. We didn't get to see this the other 3 times, but now in round number 4, where both teams just say, you know what? I don't care anymore. 1 minute left. It's basically one push. One, maybe 2, if you can stagger correctly. But I want to see what both teams pull out. I don't know if they're going to pull out anything different. I think the same could come out, where they just pull out the Winston Diva. I think that's definitely been working for both teams here. Winston Diva with a couple of healers, and the Sombra. The Sombra, both these teams really love Sombra. I don't think they want to switch anytime soon off of it.
I'm honestly really happy about that too, because we've seen a lot of triple tank, triple support flooding the professional scene, that it is so refreshing to see these players pick more comfort picks with those interesting DPS choices that at first glance don't quite look like they're supposed to work. But both of these teams have really been able to make something happen. Just EMP in general is an amazing ultimate to have in your toolkit.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, coming into this today, I was like, all right, I watched a lot of Overwatch League, a lot of 3 support, 3 tanks. I want to see it. I want to see the Zarya, Reinhardt, all of that fun stuff. But no, today we see the Genjis, and I'm like, all right, let's just scrap the notes and let's get it right into this one. Finally watching round number 3.
Hey, it's really fun when you see these different hero picks coming out, but what Freezerburn's trying to do right now is just get some sort of information to be able to tell Greyhound Solar about what they're facing. But they are going to be going for more of a Cyber Ninja. They are going to try to get that EMP and Dragon Blade online, but it's going to come down to whether the Freezerburn is able to get on hack to really open things up here. But that's going to be Paper Monk diving in to try to avenge their brother here in Freezerburn. Not going to be able to do that, though. Going to end up losing their own life in that escapade. But they do have 20 seconds left on the clock to regroup and try to make something happen. But Alt Economy right now really going more towards Otter Oxide at the moment.
Yeah, Otter Oxide is just constantly, with a lot of their numbers are just going up. You can see how most of them are over the 50% mark, but we're going to have to see if they end up pulling it out here. It's a nice first push, but you see another Winston dive.
Ooh, and that's going to be a nap as well. Lit Cat with an excellently placed sleep onto Paper Monk means that that bubble isn't there for this Diva Bomb that's about to come out here. It's not going to find anybody, but it will force all of Greyhound Solar off into a corner so that Otter Oxide can just kind of go over and clean up. Kishi, though, with a last-ditch effort to try to blade around on point, but as soon as we see Bird getting nanoed, I think that means that that's going to be the end of this round.
Yeah, and that's going to be it. 1 minute and done. 2 pushes, and they just weren't able to cap this point. Now it's the other team's turn. We'll see if they can do anything. Or I believe it's just a draw if nothing happens,
yes,
right?
Yeah, and I mean, a draw is still an excellent place
for
Greyhound Solar to be, because that is going to be a map that they deny from Otter Oxide as they're looking for a seed at this point in the playoffs. So the less maps that they have in their map differential, the more likely that Otter Oxide might get placed lower in the seeding bracket.
Yeah, we'll see if anything can come out of it. Again, 1 minute left, potentially 2 pushes onto it. Both teams, you can see over on Greyhound. Yeah, Greyhound. That they want to pull out the Bastion. They want to pull out the Orisa, maybe a May. We'll see if it can work wonders here.
I mean, it worked really well for them on their first defense. It really caused Otter Oxide to check themselves to see whether or not they actually had the team coordination. And that's something that I really love about Bastion and Torbjorn as heroes, is that they do kind of force the enemy team to think about whether or not they know exactly what they need to do against it.
Well, yeah, when you face against like a normal comp without a Bastion, it's very like, all right, who's in front of me? Who can I get? Let's just go for that person. When it's a Bastion, it's like, all right, everyone dive on the Bastion and then look elsewhere. So we'll see if the enemy team can, or we'll see if Otter Oxide can adjust to it. And yeah, let's see how this pans out.
We do have less than 45 seconds now to make something happen. This is going to be potentially a one and done here for Otter Oxide. Bird getting a little bit of information to bring back to Otter Oxide, but I think that Otter Oxide does have a composition that is set up for this, and as soon as that they see that Bastion up there, it's going to have to be a dive in, and Raven Impulse out of the fight means that Res is out as well, but it does look like the kills are going the way of Greyhound Solar, so it is going to be a little bit of a reset here for Otter Oxide to try to make it back. And this is a position that Greyhound Solar was in when they got bullied off the point in their first engagement. They're only going to have 10 seconds left to try to come back, and we'll see whether or not Otter Oxide's able to touch.
Oh, Xavier, he was going to go in for a second and then didn't really want to do anything. Now he's going to go in. We'll see what he can make out of this. Round to the Maywall.
Oh, that Maywall almost stopped Xavier from getting to the point, but as quickly as they come in, this is going to be kind of a one-stop shop here for Otter Oxide. Everybody is still very, very healthy here on Greyhound Solar, which is going to give them the edge in this last fight. Sakura stalling on point to keep that overtime timer alive, but that's going to be a draw here on Hollywood.
And there you go. Just the draw to end off the last map. It's still something. We ended up seeing Greyhound just pull out all of their last little bits of whatever they had, and they ended up they took 3 points, which was awesome. I love seeing that too.
Yeah, that is great for both of these teams. Like, this was a lot closer of a map than we've seen kind of this whole series. It was a great point to end the match set on. And honestly, like, Greyhound Solar really did look like they were shaping up a lot in that last map of the night.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Otter Oxide, you got to see a little bit of their weaknesses, but Greyhound can hopefully take all of that, everything that they basically learned today and apply that next time, because you can see a really nice skeleton of what can be a beautiful team. But we need to see them really show up.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? While we are looking to end the night, let's talk to you about the other matches that have also concluded. So if you didn't get a chance to check these out, here are the scores. We had in the Majors division had Wisdom Overwatch versus 1516, which went to a map 5. So this is the only set of the night to be able to get there, and it's going to be Wisdom Overwatch beating 1516 3-2. Ghost Peppers 4-0'd our newest team in Gold Gang tonight as well. So sorry for the initiation there, but you can see why Ghost Peppers is in hot contention for a playoff spot as well in the Majors division. And for minors, it was going to be a lot of four map sets across the board. Penten Viserion versus Licorice Whip was a 3-1 in favor of Penten. Expandable Odyssey 4-0'd Echo 6, and Flashpoint versus Quantum Charge ended in a 1-3 to Quantum Charge. So that's going to be kind of all that we have here, I think. Are there any last words that you want to say about either of these teams, Otter Oxide or Greyhound Solar?
I loved watching both of them. A lot of them have some pretty good heart, and I would love to see them later on if I end up casting them again. But yeah, this was fun.
Well, I'm glad that you had fun. I had fun as well being on the desk for this match. Best of luck to both of these teams as they continue forward in the minors division. We've got more action for you the rest of this week, especially because Overwatch League isn't going to be active until Saturday. So we might be able to showcase some of those later matches, a little bit last minute ones that we've got going on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So check out the channel. Make sure you've got updates turned on for the Owlet tournament, and we will see you guys next time.